آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Now today, inshallah, we're going to go through two short surahs and mainly talking about events in the Day of Judgment, inshallah. So the first one, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. So here Allah Azza wa Jal talk about Al-Qari'ah and events on that day. Events in the Day of Judgment, there's so many events, and then Allah talk about certain event in every surah. Like here, Allah Azza wa Jal said, يكون الناس يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث, a day when people are like the butterfly scattered about. In another place called جراد كأنهم جراد منتشر. So the beginning, when they come out of the grave, will be so shocked that they will be haphazardly moving like farash, like the butterfly. They don't go like groups, like birds or locusts or fish. So Al-Qari'ah, the Day of Judgment, one of the name of the Day of Judgment, when there is a huge sound. Qara'at, when you bomb the drums, a huge sound you create by the big drums. And the Qari'ah, the Day of Judgment, is the massive, mighty sound, which is the start of the Day of Judgment. If Israfil blow the trumpet, and that's what we can't actually imagine how is going to happen when the sound transmitted in air. If there's no air, how the sound is going to be transmitted?
You're assuming that it's not going to be on Earth.
Yeah, if it's not on Earth, how is it going to reach the Earth?
Why doesn't it emanate from Earth?
You mean start on Earth?
Yeah.
Al-Qari'ah. Yeah, that could be another one. Al-Qari'ah, obviously there's so many things we don't even know in astrophysics. Astrophysics we're talking about today, there must be some other power moving or interfering in the movement of the galaxies in the universe, because they are moving faster than what you expect from astrophysics. And a lot of galaxies actually speeding away from us by double the speed of sound, which is double the speed of light, which is not possible. So there's so many things we don't know. If you want to apply on religion what you know now, you're more likely to be wrong. Like when they discovered that the sun is actually static in the solar system and the planets moving around it, they said, the Quran said, وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي لِمُسْتَقَرٍ لَهَا. The Quran said the sun is moving to predetermined destination. So who is wrong, the Quran or science? And scientists, being so arrogant, said no, they are right and the Quran is wrong. And then they came to discover with more observation that yes, the sun is actually moving and within the galaxy to a predetermined place. We don't know where, but it is moving, and moving in fast speed. We're moving 2,600 miles an hour in around the Earth around itself, as moving around the sun. I don't know the speed, but the sun and the moon and all the planets, all our solar system moving within the galaxy with millions of miles. And you need to just get the right figure, but they're moving in fast speed. So the whole surah, Allah Azza wa Jalla, talking about the Qari'ah, but he's not asking a question. Al-Qari'ah ma al-Qari'ah wa ma adraka ma al-Qari'ah. He doesn't tell you what a Qari'ah is. So like you say, I saw a mansion house. What a mansion house. What a big, massive mansion house I saw. Then he didn't tell us how many bedrooms, how many receptions, how many courtyards. He didn't. Because your imaginations go really straight away to imagine a mighty mansion house, and you don't need really details, just mighty mansion house is enough for you, knowing the size of your house and things. And then Allah described what happened in the day of Al-Qari'ah, and when people will be coming out of their graves scattered like butterfly. And butterfly are known of those who insects who don't actually have sense of danger, but they're not actually following a set of rules to avoid putting themselves in danger. So when there's a fire, they come and drop in it. The Prophet ﷺ said, my example and your example, like somebody set a fire and the hawam kept running, jumping into it, and I'm trying to push you away from it. So trying to jump you into hellfire, and the Prophet ﷺ trying to get us out. Don't do this, don't do that, avoid this. Protect yourself from hellfire. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. Again, talked about mountains, like they are like, you know, they're like graded wool. If any of you, in the past we used to have wool mattresses, and the wool mattresses, every year we wash the wool, we take it out of the mattress, we wash the wool, and then we hit it with how he knows, he must be doing it. Yeah, Najjad, yeah. The Najjad come and hit it with a flexible like a stick, and cause it to become inflated, become soft again, and you push it inside the mattress again, and you have thick mattress now. After it become like 5 centimeters, come back like 40 centimeters, and then you sleep on it for the whole year, and then next summer you do the same. So ahn al-manfush become like, you know, all fluffy, small pieces and things. And especially when they have children and they wait in their on their mattress, they usually go and wash it and, you know, beat it again to become fluffy again. So the mountains become like this, not the mattresses, the mountains. But Allah brought it to the Arab imagination, because they were an act they were doing at home, and they kept doing for 1400 years. It seems, because we've done it in my family did it when I was a young boy. Not because I was wetting myself, but it was yearly washing. فأما من ثقلت موازينه, on that day, your mawazin, your deeds put on the scale, and you have a lot of deeds, and you will be what do you say about Aishatun Radiyah here? You will be in a life of good pleasure and satisfaction. He didn't translate it correctly. It's here Aisha, the Aisha is happy. فهو في عيشة راضية. The living, the condition is happy. How can you describe that? The easiest way, if you're really a good driver and you're caring about your car and you change the oil and water and clean the car and drive in the right speed and don't bomb the things, don't jump into and go into holes and potholes and things, the car is happy. The car itself is happy with you as a driver. So because you are in Jannah, it's so one of the cream of the cream, that one of those who really behaved well, and they loved Allah Azza wa Jalla, they were really good people, and they were generous, they were practicing, they were doing this and this. Because they are so good people, the Aisha itself is happy, that I'm happy that I'm serving you. I'm the chair, I'm happy that you are sitting on me. Who was happy serving the Prophet ﷺ when the Prophet stopped using it? Cried. The tree. The Prophet ﷺ was leaning on a tree at the beginning when they started giving khutbah, that the tree was happy that the Prophet leaning on it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when they made him the minbar, the tree started crying, and everybody heard the tree crying, the trunk of tree crying, because she was happy that the Prophet leaning on it. So the Prophet ﷺ stopped, hugged the tree, and they buried the tree. So so the tree itself was happy with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Obviously, the mattress was happy, the house was happy, the place he goes through is happy. There were, like they say, imagined competition between the cave of Hira and the cave of Thawr. And who won the argument? Because they both, the Prophet ﷺ sat in them, the cave of Hira and the cave of Thawr. Which one won? Have a guess. Yeah, the cave of Thawr won. Because the cave of Hira, he said, oh, I was the first to have the Prophet ﷺ. He was sitting with me for 40 days and he was talked to by Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. He came down, and so I'm really blessed. I'm the first to receive the message. The Prophet received sallallahu alaihi wasallam the message in me. And Cave of Thawr said that's different than being really under threat. You're really terrified. You're really going to be killed. You're going to be, ransom for 100 camel. And I kept you there, and you stayed there, and you were saved, and you escaped the attack from the Qurayshis. So the cave of Thawr was more proud that he protected the Prophet in the most difficult time. Now,
Aisha and Radia, could that be a connection with another ayah, which is Al-Bayyinah,
رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه.
So it says,
ذلك لمن خشي ربه.
He's in Jannati Adan, basically. So
yeah,
it's a connection, maybe. They follow each other.
Yeah.
Quite near.
Yeah, that's رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. They were really happy with the gift from Allah Azza wa Jal. So more than pleased. And then he said, are you happy I'm giving you? Yes. And then he said, I'll give you more, that I will be pleased with you, I'll never be angry with you. And also another hadith that you will show, we will see the face of Allah Azza wa Jal. So القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة. Allah Azza wa Jal repeating that not as a question but as bringing the mighty of the day of judgment, when people will be scattered like the black direction butterflies haphazardly running around. They don't know what danger they're facing, and then they are assembled. Then Israfil come and assemble them and take them forward. So the one whose deeds are heavy, not only he's happy, everything serving him will be happy. The chair sitting on, the land he's walking on, the food he's eating. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ, have no good deeds, just little bit here, little bit there. Then his destination is hellfire. He will dive into it. Hellfire actually absorbed them. And that's it has a breathing, inhale and exhale, and they suck them in. فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. You know what the hawiyah is? Blazing fire. A fire which is so hot that, Allah heated hellfire till it became white, and He heated it till it became red, till it became white, and then it became black. So the flame of hellfire will not emit light, which make you think whether the black hole wouldn't then it would be hot or something. I don't know. Nobody been to black hole and come back. The next surah, ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون. Here we learn the surah as children, and you always think of ألهاكم التكاثر, that you were busy having too many things, too many children, too much money, too much status, and too much fame, and too much friends, and you're just busy with all the things Allah created on earth. And you will only wake up when you become a resident in the graves. Not by visiting the grave, because people visit the grave and go forget all about it. When you become there, you become a resident in the graves. So visit is not actually the right one. because you go back and you forget about it. While here, Zurtum Maqabir, scholars say when you become a guest there and you stay there. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla said, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. So he said no, and no again, and no again. كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. He's making stress on that you will know what happened to you, what you've been doing, where your destination is. But that might be too late. ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. Again, كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. So, Allah Azza wa Jalla stressed 3 times, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ, definitely you will know, you shall know. And then, كَلَّا again, سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. And كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. If you know علم اليقين. So why he talked about yaqeen? What's yaqeen here? علم اليقين. Yaqeen is the full conviction. You're really convinced that's really true. Ilm, when you have a knowledge about something which is definitely true. So you have the ilm. You know there is New York. You heard a lot about it, and people went there and came back and said, yes, there's New York there, and they have the Statue of Liberty, and they have this, and they have that, the Wall Street, and they describe it to you. And they describe it so many people from so many different backgrounds that you are convinced, yes, there is a place called New York. And then it happened that there were a delegation flying over New York. And you are in the plane or helicopter, and then, oh, that's New York, see, that's a statue talking about it, that's on Wall Street, and that's this, and that's that. And that Ainul Yaqeen. You've seen it with your own eyes. But that's not really enough, because there might be some illusion or some, different things. And they said, okay, we have actually 12 hours to spare. We will land here and do some shopping. So you land in New York and you move around in the street and shop and see people and eat the food and drink the drink. Then your conviction become Haqqul Yaqeen. That's definitely, there is in New York, and they have street, they have people. Like Brother Akbar going to South Africa, I said, be careful, because it's full of South Africans with the Omicron. It's full of South Africans. So when they have علم اليقين, كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين, you convinced, you avoid it. But if you don't get convinced and you don't avoid it, you will see it. لترون الجحيم. All of us, except few, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا. All of us will be going there looking at hellfire. ثم ننجي الذين اتقوا. Allah will save those who are muttaqeen, mindful of Allah Azza wa Jalla, God-fearing, and the rest will be left in hellfire. But those who سيجنبها الأتقى, we came across a few weeks ago, السابقون السابقون أولئك المقربون, they will never come near hellfire. سيجنبها, they will be in one place, hellfire will be in another place. Like Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. Haram could be something next to you, but it's haram. I mean, you could be traveling on a train, there's a lady there, it's not related to you. It's haram to look at her, haram to touch her, but she's sitting there. But khamr, you have to go somewhere else. You have to, ijtinab is be somewhere else. So, وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى, the muttaqi, the true muttaqi, will not come near even hellfire. So they will see hellfire, تَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ, and so they had the knowledge about it, علم اليقين, and then when they see the hellfire, that will be the worst time for them, because all of them who are seeing hellfire are afraid of dropping in it. So you wouldn't know that you're not going to be dropped in hellfire until you pass the Sirat and you are on the other side by the door of Jannah. So when you see it, Ayn al-Yaqeen, that's really bad news. And you need فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, if you are shaking, just زَيْح, it's like you have a big rock and 10 of us came and started pushing it and we made some movement. So زُحْزِحَ is not easy to make زَحْزَحَ in Arabic. Moving somewhere else. But زَحْزَحَ, it started moving around. If you had that experience, you're pushing something and start moving. Oh, it's moving, carry on, push more. If you moved like this, started moving away from hellfire, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, فَقَدْ فَازَ, you are a winner. But if it drops in hellfire, but if you reach that stage, لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ, you will be asked about all the luxury you had in this life. And the luxury in the life here is not like, you had a Bentley or just Lada, or you had a mansion house or just bed set. No. The Prophet ﷺ was invited to a food and they had some sweet after that. They had 3-course meal, like 3 type of food. And the Prophet ﷺ said, by Allah, we will be asked about this 3rd type, 2 type. Because the Prophet ﷺ never known to mix 2 type of food. So either rice or bread or meat or barleys, or so you don't have 5-6 course meal like many of us have. So that's little bit Allah will ask about it. But the Prophet ﷺ said, always used to ask Allah Azza wa Jalla not to make us question. So ask Allah Azza wa Jalla enter us paradise without hisab, without questioning. And Aisha radiallahu anha asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what's the ayah we came across? فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَى أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا. If you have your book with your right hand, مُتِيَ كِتَابُ يَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا, your judgment will be light and you go back to your family happy. Like we know about it, we covered it in the previous life, we'll cover it now, off you go. And she said, and the Prophet ﷺ said to her, مَنْ حُوسِبَ عُذِّبَ, if you are negotiated about your deeds, definitely he will be punished. So we hope, inshallah, all of us will go without any hisab, without any questions.
I thought that meant that if your question is like, it's like so stressful, it's like punishment, as opposed to if you question, you're going to get punished.
If you are questioned why you did this,
yeah, that's like
yeah, that's a hisab. That's the hisab. Why you did this? Why didn't you do that?
If you get questioned, you will get punished.
No, the hisab al-yasir, we know about this. We'll convert it into good deeds. There's another hadith. You've done that bad, and convert to good. So you have like 200,000, make it. And he's done 100,000 bad deeds, and I've converted to 100 good deeds, become 300. And then start the person say, "Oh, I remember that bad deed. Can you convert it? Can you convert it?" So he will be happy even with the bad deeds he did, that Allah converted it into good deeds. So, and the gift Allah Azza wa Jal will give people will be so generous the day of judgment. Even Iblis will be like, I'm here, he's there, and like to. But the hisab, negotiating because those who negotiate, they usually they lose. They didn't do things to deserve being. Many people will come to you and say, why should mother so-and-so go to hellfire? She has been serving all these poor and taking food to them and money and this and that, and why she should go to hell? She doesn't believe La ilaha illallah. Why she should go to paradise? What's the answer? They bring names of people known in the recent history. They've done good things. Like somebody collected a lot of money for Somalia, for Ethiopia, and they have the songs and things. Sorry?
She didn't believe in hell and heaven. So that's why she should go to heaven. But she didn't believe.
Some Christian believe there is hell and heaven,
yeah,
but they associate a partner with Allah. They will definitely go to hell.
They didn't believe in Allah as Allah wants them to. if they don't believe in Allah, they can't really complain to Him.
Yeah.
They don't believe in.
Because deeds is not actually important when it comes to living in Jannah. Because if he lived 1,000 years or 10,000 years doing good deeds, divided by eternal life in Jannah is 0. Anything divided by infinity is 0. Now,
Just to share something with this sort of topic, and also about the something that happened to me yesterday, which shows that actually doing charity stuff is actually very enjoyable. So we went to Abu Qudo's house yesterday, and it was just for a quick visit, but they went and ordered pizza.
I heard about the pizza.
They ordered pizza, but Ismail ordered it for them.
Yeah, I heard about the pizza. Yeah, carry
so
on.
You don't know the full story though. So they ordered it from Pizza Hut, and he ordered 3 vegetarian. So when it arrived, 2 pizzas arrived, and both of them were chicken pizzas.
So he ordered 3 pizzas, 2 arrived, 1 and 2 are chicken.
So neither of them could be eaten.
And he wanted vegetarians.
And so he ordered 3 vegetarian, 2 arrived, and they're both chicken. So he called them and said, "This is like a joke. Well, what are you doing? Sending this again?" So he just apologized. So they sent again. So they're supposed to be 3. So then only 2 arrived. Another one was chicken. Another was chicken, and then the other one was goats. So the goats, that was vegetarian. So we all ate some of that, but then the vegetarian one didn't arrive. And then like an hour later it arrived.
So you had, send again 1 chicken and 1 goat.
Goat's cheese. So they're supposed to goat's cheese.
Goat's cheese. Yeah. Cheese.
Yeah.
He said goat halal.
Yeah, goat's halal.
Yeah.
So
send again chicken
3 chicken and then 2 vegetarians. So we had 2 vegetarian. Alhamdulillah, there was more than enough. We didn't need 3. We only needed 2. So we have 3 now extra pizzas. So what we're gonna do is, okay, I'll go and find a 4 person and give it to them. Yeah. So I went out to find some poor people at night yesterday. I thought I'd find someone outside of Aldi next to my house. But obviously when you go late, there's no one there. There's no one else there. So I kept on driving, and the more you drive, I went to like different estates and stuff. The more I'm committed now. I'm not going to come back. It'd be a wasted journey. I have to find somebody. So I drove all the way to the mailbox in Birmingham. Yeah. And I saw some guy with a blanket. Like he looked homeless. I couldn't quite tell. And then I drove past him, and then I drove again, and I saw him again. So I pulled the window down and said, "Mate, you want some pizza?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, let me just park the car and I come and give you the pizza." So I parked the car some random place, and then I ran to him, and he was like so ecstatic. He was saying to me, "Who are you? Where were you sent from?" I was like, "Oh, I just got some pizza, mate. Don't worry about it." Yeah. So then I gave him the pizza. He was really happy. He was making prayers for us, all that kind of stuff. So I just paid for the people who gave us the pizza. And then when I went back to my car, there was a guy parked in front of me, which is really, I was like, "Who's this guy?" And just randomly where I parked, he punctured his tyre. And he was really struggling. This guy called Lawrence, an old guy. And he's trying to get the tyre off. I was like, okay, that's not weird. So I said, okay, do you want some help? So I helped him. And again, him and his wife were like, "Oh, where were you sent from? How did you help us?" and stuff. And I said to him, in our religion, there's a saying that if you help someone when you're younger, Allah will help you with the same thing when you're older. And he said, "You know what? It's really odd because when I was younger, somebody had a car puncture as well, and he came and he helped him. So that actually did happen to him." So I said to him, "Listen, Lawrence," he goes, "Oh, you Muslims are really good people, and I have Muslim friends and stuff like that." I said, "Lawrence, I think this is a sign. I think you should probably go and learn more about Islam." But the point is that I find that really enjoyable.
Yeah, so you had the wrong pizza. You went out to give it to some people who are in need for it, homeless.
The point is, the Dr. This was saying about when you do good things.
Yeah.
And then, like doing good things is actually very enjoyable. It was very enjoyable to kind of have that experience.
Yeah, you could do good things. Allah will reward you in this life and the hereafter. And you came across somebody who had a puncture, and you helped him, and he said that he helped somebody when he was young as well. I have another story, but we run out of time for the Quran, so we'll just stop here. But the answer to that, if somebody believes La ilaha illallah will go to paradise, and somebody refused to believe La ilaha illallah, It's his choice. It's not matter. You're not going to move mountains. You're not going to become rock scientist. You're not going to study for 60 years how to give an aesthetic to somebody or something. It's just say La ilaha illallah sincerely from your heart once in your lifetime, and you refuse to say it. So what can I do for you? I give you this. I was trying to say to my granddaughter that you should say thank you to Allah because He gave you all the health and food and clothes and things. And I said, imagine if somebody come to you and say, I'll give you this mansion house and give you 10 million pounds and I will give you a Ferrari, and you just say to me after I give it to you, just say thank you. What do you say? I said no. I said, why? She said, my mom said don't speak to strangers. Now,
just a very quick thing about chips. Just a very quick thing. If I said the way I explained to the youth group is if a person comes and a policeman stops by and he goes, I just want to give you a gift, and I just remembered it's your birthday and I give you the gift, that wouldn't be accepted, because although your intention is to give a gift and you want to give a gift, the context and what you're doing dictates that as a bribe. So the intention and the reason you're doing something is more important than what you're doing. And the same thing, if you were to give someone a bribe in any context, or if you were to do something that is kind, or if you were to accept a gift in a position of power, that would still be illegal, because you're seen to be someone who is